We spent the past few days taking down our solar power setup so we could make room for both our existing components and new ones. With the additional 20 panels we are adding, we will be bringing in 3 times the amount of power we currently are, which means even on multiple cloudy days, we will be able to function normally.
So the plan today, guys, is to pretty much get all the trough built and installed in between the charge controllers and the inverter. And once that's done, we're gonna go ahead and get all the pipe up and rearrange the disconnects outside so we can get everything prepped for wire and getting everything wired up. So the first thing we did was knock out the charge controllers and get chase nipples in there. That's going to be for this Cat 5e wire that goes from charge controller to charge controller to charge controller and back over to the inverter. What it allows that to do is pretty much talk to each other, and so everything works in unison. The next step is going to be to knock out the trough, get everything built, and get everything installed. We have the 4-inch trough mounted in between the charge controllers and the inverter. They're all getting held up with chase nipples. The reason we're doing it like this is so we can take the bottom trough and hold it up to the vertical trough so we can trace everything out before we start cutting. Doing it that way, it leaves little room for error with measuring, because we all know Aaron likes to write the measurements down wrong. So that's probably what would happen. So we hold it up there, we trace it out, and we cut where we mark, so it works out great. As a side note, guys, you really can't find this stuff at Home Depot or Lowe's. You got to go to your electrical supply house to get this stuff. So the next step is going to be getting everything cut out and installed. We just got done cutting the holes in the bottom trough for the vertical trough to come into. Now we're gonna go ahead and put these trough connectors or adapters in the bottom trough, and then we're gonna go ahead and take these vertical pieces back down, bolt it all together, and then slide this entire thing up. The reason we're doing it like that is gonna make it a lot easier bolting those troughs together versus trying to fight each and every one of them, all four of them. It's gonna be a lot easier for us to actually slide this whole thing in and up as one piece and then put our chase thimbles back in. This trough is up. We're actually gonna put another trough back here. It's gonna come across that way. It's all gonna connect. It's gonna be a back-to-back trough, meaning we have a trough on the outside also. And then from that trough, it's gonna go up to 3 disconnects where everything comes from the array, and it's gonna feed into here and go to all of our charge controllers. So we're gonna go ahead and get this piece of trough installed, button up a few things, and then head outside.
Thank you, Magic Spoon, for sponsoring today's video.
As an adult, I don't always eat cereal, but when I do, it's childlike cereal for adults.
Magic Spoon cereal comes in 4 different flavors. It has 0 sugar, 11 grams of protein, and only 3 net carbs in each serving. It's keto friendly, gluten free, soy free, low carb, and GMO free.
Today I'm going for blueberry.
I already ate that one.
I'll have cocoa then. Fruity? Gone? What am I gonna eat?
It's amazing, right? I guess he's having frosted. Go to magicspoon.com/WWOG and use code WILD to get $5 off your entire order. Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it is backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked.
That's magicspoon.com/WWOG and use code WILD to get $5 off your entire order.
So thank you, Magic Spoon, for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get back to the build.
You got less. Can I buy that? See, the problem is, Aaron always buys Pepperidge Farm cookies. Right?
Brussels.
That's what,
Brussels.
that's a type?
They're my favorite.
They're delicious. I like them. She hides them from me. I get to find them, and I always want to bite. She gives me a bite, but little does Aaron know.
You found it?
I found the stash! Dude, I got more too.
He eats all the dessert. There's no sharing dessert with Josh.
No.
How many more do you have?
More. Get out of there.
Now I gotta find new hiding spots. How'd you find them?
I'm kind of a detective.
I'm a snack detective, yeah.
This is just trough edging that I'm putting on. It pretty much prevents the wire from getting cut up when I pass the wire through the trough. It just guards it and makes sure there's no sharp edges when I'm pulling the wire through. Alright, that one's good. go to the next one. Erin lost a screwdriver, so I'm giving her the kid screwdriver. It says ages 8 and plus. Here you go. Don't poke your eye now.
I did not lose the screwdriver. I can't believe it just did that. Don't stab. I gotta replay that right now.
The world is spinning out of control. Tell me something that I don't know.
We've got all 3 of our lightning arresters mounted on the trough. They're not wired up yet. We'll get to that when we wire everything up. So the next thing we want to do is go ahead and get this guy mounted. It's going to hold 2 breakers, or house 2 breakers. And how everything's going to work, we have a set of solar panels outside right now. It comes in, goes to a disconnect on the outside, and it goes to this charge controller right here. And then it goes from this charge controller, goes over towards our inverter, and actually goes down towards a breaker right there, a 100 amp breaker. So it goes from the breaker and it goes back to the inverter. That's how we can disconnect everything in between. So with what we have installed right now with that bottom box on the inverter, it's too small to hold 2 more breakers, and that's where this guy comes into effect. So get him mounted up, and it's actually going to control these 2 guys right here. So it comes out of here, back to the breaker, then to the inverter. That's how it's going to work.
Now it's time to find it once again in the pulse of the nation. It's more than you and me. I know it's hard to breathe in the street. I hear freedom crying, so let's stop the fighting, start finding hope of a nation.
So I got the box installed. Everything went great. I'm going to go ahead and put the breakers in. This spot was already open. I was going to go ahead and try to snap this guy out. When I pushed on him, everything flew out instantly. So it's a pain. The reason why is because if you're using spots of breakers, you can't have any open spaces with no barriers there. So I actually needed these 2 to be in there like that to stay that way. So now Aaron and I have to rig something up to make it fit and put something in between to make sure it works. Not a big deal, just a pain. Just one of them things. I can't go to Home Depot and buy a blank, or Lowe's and buy a blank for a midnight solar box. So that's what it is. That'll work like that. We'll screw it in, bolt it in. It'll work out great. What do you think? Let's talk quick. So just so you guys are aware, we do have our clearance right here. We're off the wall 4¼ and you can see right here we're actually off the wall almost 4 inches. So there's no clearance issues with this being here. I know it may look that way from this angle. It looks like it's impeding on the clearance, but it's actually not. All right, so we're piped in and done. Real quick, let's go over this. We're not supporting this pipe right here. He's under 24 inches or 24 inches or less, so he does not require to be supported. He's actually considered a nipple, so this side is good. We actually supported this side right here because it's actually over 24 inches. It's actually, I think, 30 inches, so we went ahead and threw a support in the center. That's why this side is supported and the other side is not. So now what's left is pretty much to get these disconnects up, remove him, put 2 more up here, get that stuff done before we start pulling wire. And right now, this guy right here, that's all hot inside of there. So we've got to go to the solar panels, to the combiner box and pull the fuses out so we can safely take this all apart and work on it without getting shocked. Good. All right, so that is good. They are now officially disconnected and safe to work on. So we'll close it up, lock it up. Just hopefully Chuck doesn't come through here messing with stuff and turn stuff on.
Chuck was once a master electrician in his life, so he knows what to do.
And a car mechanic, right?
Yes.
What else?
A farmer.
Farmer?
Yeah, he was an Olympic swimmer. He's done a lot. Chuck's lived a very full life, Josh, okay? He's retired now, guys.
Looks like a fat seal now.
Hey! So, we are adding, did you tell them that we're adding 2 more disconnects?
Maybe.
Okay, we're adding 2 more disconnects. Technically, this one could stay here, right where it's at. The reason that we're taking it down is because it wouldn't be centered at all, having 3 of them on this spot of the powerhouse. And like, so that's pretty much just
it's a complete and utter eyesore, and we can't let that be acceptable here with this work right here. It needs to be right.
Yes, he said it very blunt. It would drive the 2 of us nuts, and I'm sure it would at least drive a handful of you guys nuts. So Josh is just going to take it down. We're gonna, eat the extra work and put the other 2 up, and then all 3 of them are going to be evenly spaced and pleasing to the eye.
Our plan is to put a trough down here. Regardless, we gotta do that because we have 1 pipe coming back with 2 different strings. So it's gonna go into different disconnects. So I need a way to separate that pipe to go to 2 different disconnects. So I'm getting that stuff done regardless.
Right.
With 2 more disconnects. So we might as well pull this down, put that same pipe into the trough, and make it all nice and neat.
Pretty.
And potentially get it ready for 4 disconnects.
Yes.
Not 3, just in case we put another one on down the road. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, so the thing about solar and what we've said ever since the beginning is that it's a total like growth process.
For us it is, yes.
Well, for us, yes. So when we first bought our solar system, we sized it for our current needs, knowing that we wanted to have the ability to add onto the system without having to replace all of the existing components. So that's why you see like we have the charge controller that we originally bought. We're still using that. We just added on 2 more. The panels that we have, we're still using those. We're just adding on 20 more.
Yes.
The disconnect, we're still using that. We're just adding on 2 more.
And eventually down the road, we may even grow the system more. We'll see what happens. That wasn't supposed to happen.
That was graceful, Josh.
I thought your hand was on there.
Yeah, right.
We got all 3 disconnects installed. We actually have space for 1 more disconnect in the future if we choose to go that route. We knocked out the trough. We used weatherproof lock rings or lock nuts on them, so they're actually gasketed, so they shouldn't leak. The disconnects are 600 volt AC rated and also 600 volt DC rated. What's coming from the panels is 420 volts DC power, obviously, so these disconnects are good to go.
With all our existing and new components installed, we can now start pulling wire, get our solar system turned back on, and once again have full-time power. Thank goodness I married an electrician.